A potentially non-obvious premise of my videos is that you, the viewer, are not a sandbagging fuck who is trying to do as little as possible while sitting on the clock and getting paid. To be clear, I'm not here to challenge the apathetic, watch-it-all-burn lifestyle. If that's working for you, fantastic. But I want to make it clear that my perspective is grounded in the belief that I will be happier if I'm setting and working to accomplish goals that usually include building or improving something. This also applies if I'm working with other people. I don't want to stand in the customer's front yard all day drinking Mountain Dew and smoking cigarettes. Let's put the roof on this house, and while we do, let's invent a more efficient way to get a pallet of shingles up a fucking ladder. So with that in mind, today we're going to talk about something in tech that drives me fucking bananas. Technical people taking advantage of the fact that their non-technical peers and managers find it almost impossible to challenge what they're being told if it's based on technical knowledge. I'm going to call this Techsploitation. To be fair, there is a corollary scenario which works the other direction. This is when managers or product people take advantage of technologists' ignorance regarding business criticality to rush shit through, which might result in someone working over a weekend or doing an all-nighter for something, quote, the CEO needs immediately, that is not remotely that important. Yes, this certainly happens, but I'd argue that it's different and much less nefarious than Techsploitation because a team's prioritization process should not be inherently opaque. If there's a chronic problem of non-emergency emergency shit being pushed through, the programmers aren't at a fundamental knowledge or comprehension disadvantage if they try to push back. Yes, I'm saying look at the fucking product roadmap and ask some damn questions, Kevin. In contrast, the key element of Techsploitation that makes it so nefarious is that the engineers possess knowledge that the manager or product person cannot reasonably be expected to learn quickly or fully understand. In these cases, the non-technical people are operating with an unfixable disadvantage. In case it's not clear, the exploitation part of this is about the technical people using this imbalance to manipulate the situation to drive a them favorable outcome. For example, driving a platform, tool, language, vendor, or product selection with misleading information. This is a super basic one that happens all the time, padding estimates and taking longer than necessary to get shit done. Level of effort, priority steering. This is where you influence product direction by making the shit you don't want to do seem more complicated and expensive than the shit you do want to do. Tech people underestimate work that will be fun all the time, knowing full well that 8 months into a 1-month migrate backend to graph database project is way too fucking late to turn back. Again, well played, Kendra. A special case of Techsploitation that power chafes my nips even more harder is because security. Because security is essentially the but think of the children of tech. Security is very important and it can be complicated, which makes it the perfect tool of a committed techsploiter. It's incredibly hard to be the but what abouter on the opposite side of the because security argument. Why do we have to do it your way? Because security. Why can't we try this new thing? Because security. Yes, security always needs to be a consideration, and it should legitimately slow down or block a lot of absolutely stupid shit people may want to do. But trying serverless functions or a simpler authentication framework is not the risk equivalent of leaving your toddler in a park surrounded by slowly moving windowless panel vans. At this point, you may be thinking, why does this grind your gears, yank your chain, and chafe your nips so hard, OCG? To which I reply simply, because it makes the job shitty for competent people, and it's not fair. I've seen good product people professionally castrated because chronic techsploiters on their implementation team prevent them from accomplishing anything interesting. Techsploiters causing a team to underperform can negatively affect other people's compensation, bonuses, and career. If, during your interview, you said, I'm going to give you about 30% and some of that will be overt fuckery, and they hired you anyway, then fine. But assuming that, like most of us, you sold them a low fuckery, high value version of yourself, taking your check while using your tech knowledge advantage nefariously just makes you a butthole. Over the years, I've thought about creating a consulting business called Is Your Team Fucking With You? Where, like an angrier and less objectively attractive Judge Judy, I listen to the facts and tell the poor management or product fucks if they're being led astray by nefarious tech-exploiting buttholes. However, now I'm working on an AI-based REST API endpoint consumed by a Jira plugin that can automatically assess your boards and attach a little OCG Techsploiter puckered donut icon to the relevant stories. Only if and when your retrospective ends with congratulations on a butthole-free sprint will my work on this earth finally be complete.